We're seeing a lot of anecdotal reporting of heart attacks post the pandemic. Is there a connection between COVID and young people having heart attacks? Is there any research to back that?
So your observation is very correct, and that observation is a universal observation. Uh, uh, I don't want to get into any of the controversies surrounding it. I think the health-seeking behavior improved around COVID times.
Mm.
People became health-seeking, and therefore more people screened themselves for heart disease. And I think therefore there's a growing recognition of these problems. This is an investigative area of research. We are trying to investigate worldwide whether there is a linkage of increased incidence of cardiovascular deaths and cardiovascular events after the pandemic times.
Mm.
Because pandemic made us homebound, generated a lot of stress, and the healthcare access to a large proportion of population was restricted.
Mm.
And after the pandemic, as the lockdowns got unlocked, people went into a rebellious behavior. So, that time they were very health seeking, suddenly became deleterious towards health consequences. And they binged a lot, they encouraged a lot of lifestyle. They felt that they have been born again. It's like, Faye 2.0, Shashank 2.0, and then they suddenly became unhealthy. And that probably has led to inappropriate lifestyle and could have led to this little recognition. Also, people were more aware of a condition like a heart disease. So awareness went up. We are celebrating World Heart Day. And I think that's equally important to recognize. And I think there is definitely a increase because we are a growing population. So when the population grows, the numbers will grow. So you are absolutely right. Whether there's a link with long COVID, whether there is a link with long COVID is also a very ill-established term.
Mm.
But whether there's a link, like if I had COVID, sometimes I feel I'm not as sharp mentally as I was before.
Mm.
And my memory sometimes gets clogged. If I see someone like you, sometimes I have an issue whether I can recognize that name. And, sometimes I need to use my spectacles. It
Mm.
happened today with
Yes.
us. And sometimes we are not able to recognize people. So that is it long COVID? Every time we blame everything to COVID. Okay. But we need to do science together. And I think the scientific data is not prime time to suggest the link, but there is an observation. And all I can tell you is that we again need to be mindful of a health seeking behavior. Get yourself screened for heart disease. If you can't climb 2 flights of stairs or four
Yes.
flights of stairs, you feel out of breath, see a doctor, see a cardiologist. If you have a family history of heart disease, because we're talking World Heart Day, if you have family history of heart disease, if you have a risk factor of heart disease like blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, you have little extra fat around your abdomen, okay, at least get a heart testing done, like say a stress test done. If your doctor feels a CT angio has to be done, get it done, but do it under medical supervision. So I think health seeking behavior and getting yourself screened, particularly in the vulnerable population, because we all as Asian Indians are vulnerable,
Right.
because we have a very high incidence of this disease. So I think that is very important. And keeping a right, healthy lifestyle with a healthy step is very important. I'm reiterating this point again and again because I think all you need to do is just, do your healthy steps and try to keep heart attacks away. Just like you used to say, have an apple and keep a doctor away. Similarly, if you do some healthy steps, eat a little less, you actually and sleep well and smile, you actually can try to keep heart attacks away. And I think being mindful and aware and getting yourself tested is not being paranoid. We are not encouraging you to do that, but at least trying to tell you that you need to be sensitive to it. Because I think very clearly your linkage was right, and we will see some more science around this in times to